This is CBC Here and Now.
Musicians are inherently creative. All we need is some safe guidelines so that we can figure out how to make music making safe.
Music educators and conductors want the province to reconsider its ban on choirs and music classes and figure out a safe way to bring it all back.
Pollinating debate, importing bees and keeping them disease-free. I'll speak with one farmer who says we can do both, coming up on Here and Now.
COVID-19 forced the closure of some programming, but these Special Olympic athletes have found a way to work out online. I'm Jeremy and I'll tell you all about it coming up on Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. We begin tonight with news of a helicopter crash at Thorburn Lake, just west of Clarenville. Police confirm a chopper did go down in the lake with 3 people on board. The crash happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. There's no word on the condition of the 3 people on board. Well, a group of music conductors and educators in this province is campaigning for a meeting with the Chief Medical Officer of Health. The group wants to make guidelines to restart band and choir practices during the COVID-19 pandemic. As Here and Now's Garrett Berry reports, they say musical performances have gotten a bad rap.
For the musically inclined, it's been a long few months. Facebook videos might hold you over, but in-person practices and performances have not gotten government's blessing.
As a conductor, this is my life. It's the most important thing to me because I know the power that choral music has for communities, for individuals.
That's why they're raising their voices, trying to get the attention of health officials.
Perhaps we can have, 10 or 15 or 20 people physically distanced, wearing a mask. I mean, again, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just thinking out loud, thinking that we need to be creative.
Health officials have warned against singing. Choirs are banned in churches. But Walsh says those early examples of high spread don't tell the whole story.
Those people were not socially distanced. There was shared food.
She wants to present new evidence.
On July the 25th, there is research coming out of Colorado, and it's specifically about singing, specifically about playing a band instrument, playing a wind instrument.
Even in the most familiar of the back-to-school scenarios, the one where most students are back in their building, most of the choir and band practices and performances are on pause. The school district says it's going to maintain all programming to the greatest extent possible. What's at risk?
Junior high school choir is about having a club, feeling like you're part of the in crowd because you're the magical group of kids who chooses to spend your extra time singing. It's about learning, going on a trip and learning that actually thousands of people millions of people across the world are also singing, some of them even singing the same music as you.
The Department of Health says Dr. Janice Fitzgerald is happy to meet with the proponents, but she's also waiting for some more evidence.
Musicians are inherently creative. All we need is some safe guidelines so that we can figure out how to make music making safe so that we can build those safe communities for our kids. There is absolutely a way.
That's when we'll be free.
Garrett Berry, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, scammers are targeting COVID subsidies. The Canada Revenue Agency is warning people to look out for fraudsters who are impersonating the CRA and asking people to pay back their Canada Emergency Response Benefit or Emergency Wage Subsidy. And a reminder, CRA never communicates with the public via text and won't ask for personal or financial information by email or over the phone. Well, protesting in Blanc-Sablon has stopped while the province debates letting residents of the isolated Quebec community into Newfoundland. Both sides met today and decided Blanc-Sablon would put together a proposal for the province to consider. For 2 days last week, the Blanc-Sablon dock looked like this. Protesters were delaying the ferry that connects Newfoundland to Labrador. The community is cut off from the rest of Quebec. About 1,100 people live there. Residents are currently allowed in parts of Labrador and don't think they should require special exemption to take the ferry to Newfoundland.
The North Shore of Quebec has never had any positive cases. They have a long-lasting relationship. They can move freely back and forth to the Straits area of Labrador right now. They can do that without any restrictions. So before they come into Newfoundland and Labrador, we need a proposal into the Chief Medical Officer to see what their travel plans, where they would go, what they want to do if they come to our province.
Well, the foreign two-member crew that sailed into Makkovik last week will be processed under Canadian immigration law. That's all Canada Border Services will say. The boat was sailing under a Norwegian flag, although it's unclear that's where the sailors are from. Our CMP transported the pair to Happy Valley Goose Bay after they docked. Canada Border Services is investigating and won't say whether the men are still in custody. Federal rules brought in mid-May prohibit pleasure craft from operating in Canada's Arctic waters until at least the end of October. That rule was put in place to try to stop the spread of COVID. Well, the final report into the emergency landing of a PAL Airlines plane at the Stephenville Airport in 2018 has found that the incident was caused by the wrong bearing being installed in the Dash 8's nose landing gear. The plane approached the runway in Deer Lake but pulled up when the wheels wouldn't lock in place. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada released a report saying the pilot spent the next 66 minutes on his cell phone with management at PAL trying to troubleshoot the problem. The report says that decreased the crew's awareness of the situation. When the plane touched down in Stephenville, the nose landing gear collapsed and the plane began skidding on its nose. All 47 passengers and 4 crew were able to get off the plane safely. There's a deal on the table for the sale of the Come-By Chance Refinery. Irving Oil's proposed purchase of North Atlantic Refining is under scrutiny by the Competition Bureau, but that hasn't stopped another company from sticking its fingers into the process. Terry Roberts reports.
Origin International. Not a familiar name in these parts, but the U.S.-based company specializing in used oil recycling wants to change that. Origin made a bid for the idled Placentia Bay Refinery back in May. Owner Silver Peak selected Irving instead. But Origin is not going away. CBC News has obtained a copy of a letter from the company to Natural Resources Minister Siobhan Cody. The company writes that it's willing and able to re-engage in the bid process, that it would resume the processing of crude oil, rehire the pre-pandemic workforce and possibly more, and expand the operation into recycling oil and wastewater, all without any government aid. An interesting development, but right now it's just words. A regulatory review of the sale to Irving is ongoing, and the deal could be finalized this fall. But if it all falls apart, Origin wants everyone to know it's ready to step in. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, social media has been buzzing with debate over new honeybee regulations. Some beekeepers believe the provincial government didn't go far enough. They're calling for an absolute ban on honeybee importation to keep Newfoundland and Labrador's bees disease-free. But others say that's too extreme. Here now's Mark Quinn explains.
Most people naturally think of honey when they hear honeybees, but farmers think pollination.
Probably 7 or 8 years ago, the province made a decision to no longer allow bumblebees to be imported. So for us, it was for pollination. We immediately saw a decline in some of our crops, our strawberries, our squash and pumpkins. We knew we had to act, so we decided to get in honeybees.
Chris Lester tried to buy bees like these locally, but couldn't find the number of hives he needed. So he decided to import about 25 hives from Western Australia. It's one of the few places in the world that hasn't been infected with varroa mites and other diseases.
Every month they had to be tested. They're tested in Australia, they're tested in Vancouver, they're tested here in Newfoundland. And as it turns out, those Australian bees came as advertised. They were actually cleaner than the Newfoundland bees.
The bees also did their jobs as advertised. Lester says production of crops like this jumped about 15% after the Australian pollinators arrived.
And when it comes to agriculture, the margins are so slim that 10 or 15% extra yield, that means the difference paying your bills or not paying your bills.
Lester agrees Newfoundland should protect its bees, but he fears banning importation might lead to someone illegally smuggling in a diseased hive.
No one is advocating to bring in Australian bees over Newfoundland bees. It's just an insurance policy for when things go sideways to avoid the illegal importation of honeybees.
Lester has about 40 hives helping to pollinate more than 100 acres, and the farm doesn't plan to import any more hives right now.
Like anyone else here in Newfoundland, we would always source locally if possible. If we run into 2 or 3 years that it's not available, then what would you do? It's our livelihood that depends on it, the jobs of 50 or 60 people.
Lester doesn't expect this news story will end the debate about honeybee importation, but he does hope the discussion about how to keep honeybees like these healthy and productive will remain respectful. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
The province's newest party has opened nominations in all 40 districts. The NL Alliance doesn't know when the next election will come, but it's hoping to get more than the 9 candidates it had in last year's election. The party's president spoke with Here and Now's Peter Cowan.
Both the candidates for Premier have insisted they're not calling an election this fall. So why has your party decided to open up nominations now when an election could be more than a year away?
Well, as you're aware, the last time we were involved in the last provincial election, we didn't have a lot of time to get organized and get things ready, Peter. So I had a call late last week from the president of NL Alliance, and the executive had a discussion and felt that part of organizing and getting our message across the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, it would be wise if we considered opening up nominations. So they decided to open up nominations across the province to see those people that were interested in getting involved and possibly becoming candidates. And that would help us get organized across the province. It would certainly give us representation in the districts, and it would help the person that would be considering running to get a team around them. And we felt that it's all a part of building our base and getting the message of Newfoundland and Labrador out there. We realize that the election is, we don't know when it's going to be, but there's always possible, I suppose. But we want to make sure that we're ready with as many candidates as possible for the next election, Peter.
But doesn't this make it harder for some candidates? Because for some people, depending on their job, the minute they sign those forms saying they want to become a candidate, they may have to take a leave of absence, they may have to put other things in their life on hold, and they don't know exactly when they're going to become a candidate.
Well, as the press release said this morning, that people that are interested can go online and fill out the application to show their interest. We don't necessarily have to close the nomination. They'll officially become the candidate, but as the press release said, we would give a week's notice or 5 days notice of when the nomination would close. So we would work with the potential candidates in making sure that everything is worked out, and they'll be able to represent us in the next election if they're selected as the candidate.
In the last election, you weren't able to get candidates in every district in the province. What's your goal this time around?
Well, obviously, our goal is to have a candidate to represent us in every district. We want, and all I can say there is we want to get as many candidates as we possibly can. We believe that NL Alliance as a message of change that the people of Newfoundland and Labrador need. And every day that I talk to more people across the province, Peter, I'm finding that more people are willing to embrace the change. And I will say this, that NL Alliance is the only political group in this province right now that's standing out and offering the change that Newfoundland and Labrador needs to build a stronger future. And I'm talking about changes in the way we do politics, the way we spend money, the way we elect people. And NL Alliance has certainly put the message out there from the beginning, and we will be releasing over the next while more solid statements of what we propose to make a better Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
A well-known former provincial politician has passed away. Former Minister of Finance and Minister of Health, Dr. Hubert Kitchen, passed away this Saturday. Kitchen was active in politics through the 70s and in the late 80s to the mid-90s. He served 3 constituencies, Harbour Grace, St. John's West, and St. John's East. The 91-year-old educator and politician was a long-standing member of the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador. In lieu of flowers, his family is suggesting that donations in Hubert's memory go toward a political party of the donor's choice. Well, the St. John's Pride Committee is doing things differently this year because of COVID-19. Yesterday's annual Pride Parade is one of those events that had a different look. The parade, which normally has hundreds of people watching and taking part, was virtual.
It's a very different Pride Parade this year. Normally right now, this street would be filled with thousands of people.
Typically we would do a parade, that's the traditional thing that's done, but of course COVID-19, as we've all heard time and time again, it's kind of put a damper on that. But in place we made sure that we didn't let that tradition come to the wayside, so we're doing a walk instead, socially distant walk. Definitely a different vibe, that's for certain. It's a different spin on it, but I think the key thing here is that we're trying to make sure that we're here, we're accessible, we're still active in the community, and that's the important thing we're trying to put forward with this today. Some people that normally wouldn't be able to come to St. John's, you know, folks of course come from Big Land and Labrador, are able to take part in some of these things, and people across the island are able to take part of these things. So it makes it a little bit more tangible for people around the province. We did a legal clinic, we had some songwriters and storytelling things, some things with drag community, so it's been a fantastic week. We have made it a goal to try and be around the whole year, and with the fall coming up, we're hoping to do a few more events, likely going to be virtual, digital, socially distant of course, but we're still in planning stages of that to try and stay as active year-round as we can. Happy Pride everybody, and cheers, thanks for having us.
Well, COVID-19 caused the cancellation of most of the provincial Special Olympics summer programming, but they found a way to get the athletes involved. Using Zoom and a number of volunteer coaches, they took their workouts online in what it's calling the Sunshine Summer Challenge, a 4-week program where athletes all over the province work out on their own and document their exercise. Here Now's Jeremy Eaton stopped by to see them in real life to learn more.
We're going to start with some running in the spot. So if you want to do it lightly, you can do it like this, but if you want to be...
The Sunshine Summer Challenge is a virtual physical activity challenge for Special Olympics athletes in Newfoundland and Labrador. So I got a grant from the Duke of Edinburgh's Passion of Purpose program and the federal government's Canada Service Corps program. And it was originally to run a swim camp in Labrador for Special Olympics athletes. But unfortunately, COVID changed our plans and we had to come up with a new way to get our athletes involved and connected this summer. So we came up with the Sunshine Summer Challenge. So it's a virtual physical activity challenge where athletes choose a goal between 100 and 400 minutes of physical activity per week, and then they record physical activity on their own, trying to complete their goal, as well as participating in Zoom sessions online with our coaches.
My name is Luke Kennedy, and I am a member of Manipur Special Olympics. I have to say that I do feel sad of not seeing my friends, but I do feel happy by connecting with them on Zoom.
Oh, the last week was absolutely amazing. All of our athletes were so excited. We had athletes crush their goals. Some of our athletes were say, okay, we're going to do 200 minutes this week, and they ended up with over 600. And we also had another parent. So in addition to the physical activity, we're also encouraging athletes to eat fruits and vegetables and drink water. So we're really encouraging like a healthy lifestyle. And so we had a mom reach out to us whose athlete doesn't really like fruits, but because of the challenge was motivated to try new fruits. So for him, that was really big as well. So yeah, it's been a great week.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Barrett. I am part of Special Olympics. For week 1, I did a walk every time, walk feet like 3 days straight with my boyfriend Robbie. Well, like exercise is good for your heart, your brain working, and I like doing that.
Bigger.
Had an incredible uptake from the athletes in our province. We had 200 athletes register from all over Newfoundland and Labrador. So as far as Lab West, we have an athlete in Bonavista, in Grand Banks, Stephenville, St. John's. We have athletes from everywhere, and we have athletes of all ages. So our youngest athlete is 10 and our oldest athlete is 69. So we have quite an age range of athletes, and they're all really excited for the challenge this summer.
Hello, my name is Andrew Hines. It's been great. It's different for me because I've been at this now for 22 years. Yeah, I've been in since 1998, so like, yeah, it's really cool. Got like a rowing machine and a treadmill home, so I knew what to do.
It's been really awesome to be able to set this up. I know especially our athletes, they're used to going to programs every single night of the week. So to all of a sudden go from doing something every day to doing nothing has been really challenging. So it's been really nice to be able to create this online connection where the athletes can work together and achieve goals, but virtually, of course.
Hi, my name is Leah McDonald. Feels great. I was really happy that we were able to be together online and still get our workouts in. I miss not being with my friends in person, so online was really nice to be able to see everyone, even though through a computer screen. I did a lot of walking. I love Richard Simmons workout videos. I did a lot of those on YouTube. I teach an exercise class actually, so I did that once a week on Zoom.
So this has been absolutely incredible. All of our athletes are so excited. I'm really proud of everybody and how well they've done. And the uptake has been huge. We've even had more people asking to join, but unfortunately we're full. But Special Olympics in the fall is hoping to do a similar version. It will be called Active in Autumn if everything goes as planned. So stay tuned for that in the fall.
Great work.
Well, it was sunny and hot today in St. John's. It's still very warm outside, 25 degrees with a 31 humidex. Ashley is on vacation this week, so I'll have your weather forecast just ahead. Welcome back to Here and Now. The St. John's Folk Festival isn't letting COVID dampen its tune. The regular Bannerman Park event is cancelled, but the festivities are continuing online. Organizers are releasing a weekly episode on the St. John's Folk Fest website, full of performances you normally see on the big stage and programming you'd find in the smaller side tents. The first episode went live on Thursday.
Instead of a real live folk festival in the park, this year we're doing a series of weekly episodes all summer long. And we're trying to sort of incorporate all the different sorts of programming that you would normally see at the festival. So everything from the main stage to the things you'd see in the smaller tents. We're really trying to represent all facets of the festival in this digital series.
And all of the workers who walk the long road.
Hey, Jim Payne here, and welcome to this year's Folk Festival. Side view, step, heel, toe, heel, step. So for this year's version of my dance workshop, I'm going to illustrate the basics of step dancing.
We thought it would be sort of nice to have a little dance break where people can kind of get up off the couch and try and follow along to a little demonstration of different traditional dances. And hopefully we'll have a dance break for every episode coming up.
Keep dancing, stay safe, take care. Thanks for checking in with this year's Folk Festival, and we hope to see you all in the park next year.
When sun rays crown thy pine-clad hills, and summer spreads her hand.
And all of the artists were very happy to participate. You know, it's been hard going through the shutdown, you know, with people losing their gigs, and we're only just starting to get into being able to have live performances in venues again, but even that is, you know, is very small. So everyone that we reached out to was very happy to be a part of the festival for sure.
And stumbling down from the lessons of age.
African music, it will bring together many of cultural communities present in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Watching people comment on a Facebook feed is not quite the same as seeing them all in the park, but it is nice to see people reacting to what we're putting out there and getting some good vibes, even if it is digitally. This Thursday's episode focuses on oral traditions. So it's sort of a replication of what you might see in one of those smaller workshop tents. So we have a song circle, we have a few storytellers, we do have another archival clip from the 1981 festival. So tune in on Thursday at 8:30 on nlfolk.com and our Facebook page.
This weather update is brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. This year, it's Stay Home Year, the year to rediscover home.
Time now for a look at the weather forecast, and what a day temperature-wise across the province. Here's a look at the highs today. 30 degrees in Makkovik today, 31 in Cartwright on the island, looking at 26 in Corner Brook, 27 in St. John's. Thankfully, those 11-degree days in St. John's are definitely over for a bit. So let's have a look at the weather on the way headlines. There's a risk of thunder showers overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning for many areas of the province. There's a heat warning in place, going to be a really hot, sweltering day for central and northeast areas on the island tomorrow. And yes, that summery weather continues this week. So overnight tonight, looking at all of these showers pushing through Labrador, as well as these heavier showers on the island. Risk of thunder showers coming with that there. So St. John's looking at mostly clear skies overnight tonight, 17 degrees. So it's going to be very, very warm. Chance of thunder showers for central areas and as well as the west coast. 5 to 15 millimeters of rain could fall in Corner Brook overnight tonight. For Labrador, looking at a chance of thunder showers for Lab City right up through Nain and Overnight low, 18 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay, so it's going to be a warm one. So starting off your day tomorrow morning, St. John's going to be 19 degrees to start off. This is like 7:30 in the morning with cloudy skies. For Central, you can see those thunder showers in the morning, but that should clear off throughout the day. So it's going to be quite sunny there actually in the afternoon, and quite warm temperatures right through early tomorrow morning. So here are the areas that are under that heat warning tomorrow. We're looking at Green Bay, White Bay, Buckens Interior, right down through Clarenville. So all of these areas looking at a humidex of about 36 tomorrow. So there is that risk of heat stroke and heat exhaustion tomorrow. So keep that in mind if you have any outdoor plans. So for tomorrow, those showers persist across Labrador. You can see how things really clear off in the afternoon for most of the island. The Avalon Peninsula looking at a mostly cloudy day. You can see those showers pushing through. That's noontime tomorrow. So the southern Avalon going to get the bulk of that, but St. John's could see some of those showers as well tomorrow. So we're heading to a high of 24 degrees in St. John's, but with that humidex going to feel more like 30 and fairly breezy as well. Southwesterly winds 30, gusting to 50. So for Clarenville, Bonavista, clearing off 29 degrees. Those are some of the areas that are affected by that heat warning tomorrow with that humidex upwards of 36 tomorrow. You can see 29 degrees across the board there. Harbour Breton a little cooler along the coast, but as you move inland, it certainly warms up. Similar story for Port aux Basques, 18 degrees along the coast, but inland it warms up significantly. Humidex there for Corner Brook, 30 degrees and 34 for the Humber Valley area. So lots of sunshine coming in the afternoon there tomorrow. So for the afternoon for the Straits, could see some showers there. Humidex 32 for Mary's Harbour, 27 degrees as the high there tomorrow. So it's going to be quite warm. For the rest of Labrador, chance of showers throughout the day. Temperatures cooling down a bit. Churchill Falls looking at 17 degrees. Makovic at 24 tomorrow. So heading into Wednesday, just look at the island, not a cloud in the sky. So sunshine across the board, 26 degrees in St. John's. Going to stay really hot in Central. That heat warning will likely stay in place for a few days. For Labrador, looking at 18 degrees in Lab City with those showers throughout the day. So pushing ahead now to Thursday, some of those showers continuing for parts of Labrador along the coast there. Things staying clear for the island, 24 degrees in St. John. So we're in for a really nice stretch of weather. And for the rest of the island, those high temperatures continuing on Wednesday. So you could expect that heat warning to be continuing through until Thursday. And for Happy Valley Goose Bay, 24 degrees there. So in the long range, Friday looking at some showers moving in the east, potentially a little bit of a cool down as we head into the weekend. Cloudy skies on Saturday. For Central, similar story, 22 degrees on Saturday with a chance of showers there, 25 on Friday. And for the western portion of the island, looking at temperatures in the low to mid 20s heading into the weekend. For Labrador, a cool down for eastern Labrador, down to 19 on Saturday with a chance of showers there, and similar story for western Labrador. So let's have a look at our viewer photo of the day. This was taken somewhere on the Burin Peninsula, not exactly sure where, but just look at this. Isn't this adorable? Oh, I just love this. This was sent to us by Alicia Barrett, and she called it a kiss for Papa because there were several young foxes, kits, that were bouncing around, and one came over to give what looks like a little kiss to its papa. So thank you so much, Alicia, for sending that in. Well, Bryson Crowley's Saturday tradition of visiting a comic shop in Mount Pearl was put on hold during the pandemic, and that made the 10-year-old sad. So the budding author wrote his own series of comics, and now he's selling them for a good cause. On Saturday, Bryson was at the Heroes and Hobbies comic book store autographing a trio of comics he wrote. The comics are about Super Thomas, the crime-fighting dog who fends off an evil robot villain. The books feature Thomas, a husky shepherd mix who belongs to the shop's owner, Amanda Skinner. She adopted Thomas from Rescue NL, and Bryson is donating all the money he makes from his comic books back to charity.
And why did you choose Rescue NL? Because that's where Thomas came from. And I just think that other dogs and other animals deserve the same things that Thomas got. So It's about the shop dog Thomas, who fights off a bunch of evil monsters like a robot who eats comic books, and a scientist who can make Funko Pops come to life.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's so good to see. I mean, he was a little ray of light at, the end of the tunnel in this dark time. I am so proud of him, so happy for him, and I hope he sells a lot more.
We have an update now on the helicopter crash at Thorburn Lake near Clarenville. Police confirm a civilian chopper did go down in the lake with 3 people on board. A search and rescue crew from Gander and a Cormorant helicopter has been at the site helping with the rescue. The Joint Rescue Coordination Center says 2 people have been recovered and rushed to hospital, but the 3rd person died at the scene. A local graphic designer is bringing his artistic flair to a new form. Judd Haynes is known for his poster art for bands, and now he's fulfilling a childhood dream of designing skateboards. He spoke with Here and Now's Jen White.
The company is called Atlantic Air, and it's started by myself and my buddy John Loader. I started skateboarding when I was 12, and pretty much since I was 15, I've been drawing art for skateboards. And I even used to, like, when I was a kid, I would buy, you know, the pro boards, and then I would take them home and immediately paint over them with my own graphics. I've been wanting to have my own boards forever, and I just made a post on Instagram back in March, and just said, you know, maybe this is the year I finally do it. And then my buddy John wrote me and was like, you know I know how to do this, right? You know I've got all the connections, we can actually make this happen. Well, John, he owns a skate shop downtown. He owns Relic. So because he's owned a skate shop for years, and before that he even managed one for a bunch of years, he's got all the connections and all the hookups as far as like where you get boards made, who, you know, who's got kind of like the best wood with all the kind of the best stuff. The company name's Atlantic Air, and just wanted to kind of keep things on some sort of local level to start out. And so obviously this one is City of St. John's. This one here shows an image of the battery, kind of looking out through the battery. We're starting out with kind of like a lot of like nice, bright, fun kind of local imagery. And but my art that I've been making for years is kind of in that vein anyway. So I kind of wanted to keep it going that way. And not, I know like a lot of skateboards kind of come with a more kind of like gritty, more punk rock kind of look, and I was like, but the art that I make doesn't necessarily look like that, so just kind of kept going with what I normally do, and hope it resonates with people. I was just out walking my dog, and it was actually the very first name I came up with, and then I basically contacted John. I was like, I got this idea for a name, what do you think? And I mean, it just kind of resonates in so many different ways for me, because there's obviously like the air coming off the ocean, Atlantic air, we're breathing it right now. And then the kind of the connotation of, you know, catching air off a skateboard or any sort of board sports, whether it's snowboarding or anything. There's two designs, but there's a whole bunch of different boards. Like each one of these graphics come in a whole bunch of different shapes. And so like this is like a really small one, and then we've got, even this shape here is the more kind of standard shape that most people ride. But we've got this one in 3 or 4 different sizes. There's also larger cruisers, and so there's lots of variety that way. Can't wait to just be walking down the road and see somebody with one who's not a friend of mine, because I know a bunch of friends of mine have them already. I've had emails from people right across the country who've been ordering them off John's website and getting them shipped to different places. But again, I won't see those. But for me, it's going to be super exciting when I'm just like walking by one of the skate parks and I see one of these go flipping through the air or something like that. That'll be the best day.
This was another weekend of the recreational cod fishery. We've been asking you to share your cod filleting skills with us, showing off how you clean cod, and we have 2 more videos for you this evening.
Put your hand there and bring it on back. Don't you're losing your fish. Okay.
This video came from Allison Vincent in Triton. She says her son was learning from his grandfather and trying his hand at filleting. It's not as easy as it looks. And this next video is going for the award for speed. This is Debbie Avery of Southport filleting a fish this weekend. Her sister rather, Stephanie Butt, sent this along to us. And as you can see, Debbie doesn't waste any time getting the fish off that bone. Clearly, she's done this before. Thanks for sending along your videos. Looks like some pretty good catches this past weekend. Well, how do you fillet cod? Let us know. Send us your own video. You can email us at hereandnow.nl@cbc.ca. We're also on Facebook and Twitter @CBCNL. Well, RCMP investigators are still on the scene of a deadly bus crash in the Rocky Mountains. The latest details coming up. Welcome back. Earlier, we told you about the companies interested in purchasing the Come By Chance oil refinery. There's already a deal with Irving Oil to buy it, and now another company has also expressed interest. The Come By Chance refinery opened back in 1973, and back then there was $1 million event held to celebrate it. Here's former CBC reporter Bill Mitchell.
Operations at the refinery site have been going on for more than a week. While workmen transform part of the grounds into a tent village, a staff of more than 50 have been putting together a feast for an estimated 4,000 people. The party, including the hiring of the canard liner Queen Elizabeth II for a week, may run to the better part of $1 million. Obviously, there's been no cutting corners on the menu. Lobster and caviar will share a place alongside Newfoundland salmon and cod tongues. Winston Churchill, grandson of the wartime British Prime Minister, will celebrate a birthday here while officiating at the opening. For him, a 4-foot-high cake is still in the construction stages. But while oil sheiks from the Middle East and buyers from the West take a look at Canada's newest and most modern refinery, the fishermen of the coves of Placentia Bay ponder a future living next door to a potential disaster. These ocean-going tugs will probably ensure the safe arrival of the 62,000-ton liner on Wednesday, and this Ministry of Transport vessel doing depth soundings in the harbor will obviously help. But the supertankers that will dock here soon can be 5 times bigger than the QE2, and the thought of a tanker several football fields long suddenly appearing out of the fog is more than most inshore fishermen care to think about. Bill Mitchell, CBC News, Come By Chance, Newfoundland.
Well, over 100 teams of scientists around the world are racing to find a vaccine for COVID-19. One of the most promising trials is out of Oxford University. Cindy Palm reports from London on some early results out today.
Brilliant, not even a flinch. The results show that the Oxford University vaccine is safe and that it triggers an immune response to the coronavirus, but it's still too early to tell if that response is enough to protect against COVID-19.
The difficulty that we have, and that all vaccine developers have in trying to make a vaccine against this particular virus, is that we don't know how strong that immune response needs to be. So we can't say just by looking at the immune responses whether this is going to protect people or not. And the only way we're going to find out is by doing the large phase 3 trials and wait for people to be infected as part of that trial before we know if the vaccine can work.
Those trials will take part in the UK, involving about 10,000 people. Despite the progress on the vaccine, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is cautioning against being too optimistic.
Obviously, I'm hopeful. I got my fingers crossed, but to say that I'm 100% confident that we'll get a vaccine this year or indeed next year is, alas, just an exaggeration. We're not there yet.
The British pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca is building a supply chain to make the vaccine available around the world if the trials are successful. Cindy Palm, CBC News, London.
Well, the flight recorders from the Ukraine Airlines jet that was shot down in Iran 6 months ago, killing 176 people, are now being examined in France. Canada's Transportation Safety Board has 2 investigators in Paris observing the analysis, and the TSB confirms that the data from the cockpit voice recorder has been successfully downloaded. Iran admits it accidentally shot down the passenger jet shortly after it took off from Tehran on January 8th. Those who died include 55 Canadians, 30 permanent residents, and several people who were heading to Canada as their final destination. Well, one day after slicing away a fishing net tangled around the head and body of a gargantuan sperm whale, final rescue efforts have slowed. Italian authorities say the animal's agitation is making it more dangerous to clear the net confining its 4-meter-wide flukes. The whale was first spotted off the coast of Sicily on Saturday, struggling to get free. The net has been identified as a type used to illegally catch swordfish. Another whale wrapped up in netting in the area was set free 3 weeks ago. Since January, more than 100 kilometers of fishing net has been confiscated by Italian authorities. Well, it's been more than 48 hours since a sightseeing bus crashed in Jasper National Park in Alberta. The RCMP says the 3 people who died were 2 Canadian women in their 20s and a 58-year-old man from India. Officials also confirmed that out of the 24 others injured on Saturday, 4 remain in critical but stable condition. Rafi Boudjikanian has the latest.
Heavy-duty equipment is here on site now, near the wreckage, to help move the bus from its location near the side of the glacier, where it's been since the crash occurred. The RCMP still hoping that a full mechanical inspection will help them figure out exactly why this incident happened. Now, police are saying that it may still take them several days to move the bus, citing safety procedures that would need to be followed given the challenge of where the bus is located. Police have ruled out a rock slide as a possible reason for the crash. Meanwhile, CBC's been speaking to more witnesses, including this man who was there on the day it all happened and tried to help out as best he could.
So we went down there, and the first thing I saw was just at least like 24 people just scattered around the rocks. All of them were badly injured and bleeding. There was blood everywhere. Yes, and we got told to help as much people as we can, like attend to them and ask them how they were doing.
We also spoke to this outdoors enthusiast who was on one of these buses last year. He says he was thrilled with that experience, but in retrospect is wondering if the company should not install seat belts on these buses.
When I got here, you had the helicopters coming in and out, you had ambulances rushing in, a lot of the different police and ambulances and everything were here.
The company says it will seriously consider any safety recommendations that emerge from this investigation. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Jasper National Park.
Welcome back. Well, it's National Lollipop Day in the United States, so if you're looking for an excuse to indulge your sweet tooth, now you have it. An American candy maker is credited with coming up with the name lollipop for the modern version of a candy on a stick back in 1931. But here's some food for thought as you savor that sucker. It's believed ancient Egyptian and Chinese cultures created some of the earliest versions using just nuts and berries covered in honey. And before we get to our weather recap, on Friday we accidentally missed some very important anniversary wishes. So let's congratulate these fine folks right now. Congratulations to Max and Joan Burt of St. John's. They're celebrating their 60th anniversary. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Frank and Margaret Bryan of Norris Arm South. Happy 61st anniversary to Alan and Gleason Chippett of Leading Tickles, now living in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy golden anniversary to Glenn and Pearl Rose of Labrador City, now living in Victoria. Happy 51st anniversary to Colin and Donna Manuel of Main Brook, now living in Corner Brook. Congratulations to Daff and Wilf Jackson. Their 56th anniversary was on Friday. And happy 61st anniversary to Max and Inez Stuckless of Durrell Twillingate. Congratulations once again, and sorry we missed you on Friday. And let's have a look at your weather recap right now. We have some hot weather on the way. We have a heat warning in place for central and the northeast of the island. Humidex tomorrow looking at 36. A risk of heat stroke and heat exhaustion tomorrow, so keep that in mind if you're heading out. Temperature-wise, 24 in St. John's with a chance of early showers, sunshine in Grand Falls and Gander, and in Labrador looking at 23 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay with a chance of showers, and 23 in Cartwright as well. And that's your weather forecast. Thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.